Breaking news now on Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Now at 6, breaking news in Hartford. Police are investigating after 3 people were shot. Good evening and thanks for joining us for the news at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Bridget Bureau. Tonight we've learned 2 of them, a woman and an infant, have died. So let's get straight out to Fox 61's Kayla Cade. She is live along New Britain Avenue where it all happened. Kayla, what can you tell us?
Yeah, we just learned that the shooting was confirmed that it did take place on 380 New Britain Avenue between Hillside and Fairfield Avenue. Now, I'm going to step out of the way of the camera so you guys can get a better look at the scene. The road is still closed off and police are still here investigating the area. Now, police did confirm that this was a double homicide, and police says that they do have reason to believe that the suspect driving that vehicle drove up to the one that was in the victim's vehicle and started shooting at them. Lieutenant Aaron Boisvert says just before 3 p.m. today, police received word that a vehicle dropped off multiple victims of gunfire at the Hartford hospital. He confirmed that 3 people inside the vehicle were shot. 2 people died. One was a woman in her 20s, and the other was a 4-month-old baby boy. The driver of the car was not hurt.
We are still working on trying to develop suspect vehicle information. Every available unit and detective in the city is out trying to accomplish that task right now.
We will continue to keep you updated on and off air on our website, fox61.com. In Hartford, Kayla Cade, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Kayla, thank you. Well, new at 6 tonight, a family seeking justice for more than 3 years finally got some of it today. Jessica Edwards' killer learned his fate.
It was an emotional day in the courtroom as the family of the South Windsor mother candidly shared how her killing has haunted their lives. Fox 61's Matt Karen brings us inside the halls of justice. Hi, Matt.
Yeah, it was a very emotional day inside court as about half a dozen members of Jessica Edwards' family spoke about how her killing has impacted their life and the life of her young son, Jaden. 30-year-old Jessica Edwards had her whole life in front of her until on May 10th of 2021, it was cut short. Edwards, who just months before her killing gave birth to her son Jaden, was killed by her husband, 26-year-old Taj Hutchinson, following a domestic dispute on Mother's Day that escalated into homicide. According to Hutchinson's arrest warrant, he admitted he knelt on Jessica's neck and back until she stopped moving. It happened inside their South Windsor condo while their 9-month-old was inside. Hutchinson loaded his wife's body in his SUV and dumped it in Lanier Park in East Hartford near the entrance to the Hockanum River. In the days that followed, Hutchinson acted like his wife just went missing. He denied any involvement and even actively participated in the search for her body. Police were able to use Edwards' phone GPS location data and drones to eventually find her body 11 days later. That's when Hutchinson finally came clean and admitted to killing Jessica. In the courtroom today, Jessica's mother sobbed with raw emotion, and her sister, who stepped up to adopt Jessica's son Jaden, said that his father robbed him.
Robbing Jaden the chance of ever meeting his amazing, caring, and loving mother. We want the court to understand that this is a diabolical act done in the presence of Jaden, who no doubt stared helplessly as the murderer executed his plan with ease.
You did not care about anyone but yourself. You wanted everyone to believe this was an accident, but you picked Mother's Day on purpose. And you planned this murder out in a way you thought that perfect for you to get away. Jessica was loved, and even though you didn't love her, we did.
In the end, Judge David Gold had the option of sentencing Hutchinson to between 25 and 30 years in prison, ultimately gave him 27 years with 3 years of special parole, and ordered him to stay away from Edwards' family, including his own son, for the rest of his life. We're live outside Hartford Superior Court. Matt Karen, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, a tough one, Matt. Thank you. Let's get a check on the forecast now, and changes are on the way.
Yeah, Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frayne joining us now. Rach, we've got some rain on the way, and it's enough to make a difference this time, huh?
Yeah, finally, a nice soaking rain on the way heading into Thursday, and we'll see a few lingering scattered showers off and on into Friday as well. I think the heaviest rain will be from 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Thursday. Again, some could be heavy at times, so you'll need the umbrella, but we also wanted to just let you know about this in terms of slowing your day down just a little bit, especially in the morning for the commute. I think there could be some puddles out there. We're not anticipating any flooding, though. The roads could be a little bit slippery just because there are so many leaves swirling around, and once those get wet, it can turn slippery. 52 in Hartford. We're looking at temperatures in the mid-50s for the New Haven area. Showers approaching, but those will fall apart before they get here. Our storm has not fully developed just yet. Temperatures right now are in the 40s and 50s, and overnight lows will dip back between 35 to right around 40 as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll see partly cloudy skies, high temperatures above average for this time of year, close to 60 degrees, dry through tomorrow night, and then we'll talk more about that rain, which could end as a few wet snowflakes for parts of the state coming up.
All right, now you're traumatizing me, Rachel. If you smelled smoke today, here's the reason why. A brush fire started in Massachusetts around midnight. The winds are blowing that smoke into our state. Take a look here. We received these photos from 2 Connecticut fire departments, and we've learned 10 acres have burned so far. There's no threat to our state, but there's still an active burn ban here. Officials say wildfire conditions are extremely high risk, and even a small spark could lead to a dangerous situation here. Firefighters ask if you see anything to please give them a call. Now, to put this into perspective, the fire started in Great Barrington, the southwestern side of Massachusetts, bordering New York and our state. The smell is so strong, residents all the way down to New Haven can smell the smoke and see the haze.
A dog died in an early morning fire over at an apartment complex in Groton. Firefighters responded to the 3-story building where they found heavy smoke coming from the 3rd floor. All people made it out alive, but a dog sadly died from the smoke. The building sustained significant damage, and residents are temporarily displaced.
Well, everyone who was impacted by the August flooding here in our state, listen up. An important deadline is approaching tonight.
It is the last day to apply for FEMA assistance, and the recovery center where you can do that in Southbury just closed at the start of the newscast at 6 p.m. But there are other options for you tonight. Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc explains.
3 months after a devastating storm ripped through Southbury, the FEMA Disaster Recovery Center here is closing up. We spoke with people who have been relying on this help.
Every day there's something else to do, to take care of.
Lorraine Kavanaugh is one of thousands of Connecticut residents still fixing their homes after a massive rainstorm ripped through the southwestern part of the state on August 18th.
I was sitting there watching TV with the dog, and he jumped off my lap and splashed on the rug, and I said, and that was it.
It was the first time she ever saw water like that come through the foundation of her raised ranch in Southbury. So when the FEMA Disaster Recovery Center opened up in her hometown, she went there as soon as she could.
I was a little nervous, and then when I came here, it was so easy. And within a week, I got the first check.
Since FEMA set up shop here 60 days ago, serving as a one-stop shop for homeowners and renters impacted by the storm, hundreds have rolled through.
At the center here in Southbury, we've had over 800 people apply for assistance or came in to get their documentation updated.
And across the state, FEMA Disaster Recovery Officer Dan McElhinney says 2,500 people have applied for assistance, getting more than $9.3 million in help. But now the window to get that money is closing tonight.
The key thing is you must register today because if you don't, then you will be ineligible for assistance.
The center in Southbury closes at 6 p.m., but people can also go online or call FEMA's hotline. More on that later, but for now, McElhinney says renters and homeowners have one last chance to access $42,500 in property loss and an additional $42,500 in damages.
We don't want any of the disaster survivors to not get what they're authorized to get or what they're eligible to get.
Take it from people like Kavanaugh, who has spent thousands so far on repairs in her home.
I think probably by the time I'm finished, it'll be about a $50,000 cost. I could have, but it would have taken all our savings to do it. We were just happy that we weren't hurt, we weren't sick. Not everybody had the same experience.
Now, if you couldn't make it to the center by its 6 p.m. closing time, you can still get help by phone or online by midnight tonight. We will show you how on Fox61.com. We are in Southbury. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Julia, thanks. The Business Recovery Center located in Oxford is also closing tonight, also closed at 6 p.m. The center remained open for months for small businesses and nonprofits impacted by that devastating flooding in August.
In October, it was announced that funds through the disaster loan program ran out, but the Business Recovery Center promises to help new applicants in need of assistance. In other news tonight, Pike Fuels, formerly Gulf Oil, reached a settlement with the state in its environmental protection lawsuit. The company agreed to pay $2 million. Pike Fuels ran a petroleum storage and distribution facility over in New Haven. DEEP conducted a 5-year investigation, finding that Pike Fuels failed to notify the agency of key developments. For example, the company failed to tell DEP that it took tanks out of service for inspection, upgrades, and defect repairs, as well as other violations of Connecticut's environmental protection laws.
If we contaminate the air that they breathe and the water that they drink and make them unsafe, that's not just morally wrong. It does tremendous damage to those communities and those families.
Pike Fuels will pay $1.2 million in civil penalty, $800,000 for environmental repair, $100,000 for New Haven first responders, and another $100,000 for environmental justice programs also in New Haven.
We have an update now on the former coal plant demolition project we told you about yesterday. Governor Ned Lamont says it's been approved and demolition activities will begin at the PSEG plant within the next few weeks. Officials say the work is expected to be completed within 3 years. The property hasn't been used for the last 3 years. Governor Lamont says he wants the space to be a productive space for the community. We'll let you know more details on the project once we know more.
We're learning new details tonight about a fight at Notre Dame High School in West Haven that led to 8 students being arrested. Now, we just learned moments ago that a mother of one of the Notre Dame High School students was also arrested and charged with breach of peace. This all happened Friday night at the school's football game against New Haven Hill House. Police say one of the students arrested was carrying a handgun, but it was unable to fire any bullets. Several officers had minor injuries during the fight, and one student, we're told, was taken to the hospital.
A Vernon mother is accused of leaving her 4 children alone while she went to New York. Lindsay Powell was arrested in Poughkeepsie, New York, and extradited back to Connecticut yesterday. Police say all the children are under the age of 11. They were left alone without food or clothing. Powell is being held on $250,000 bond.
An Ashford man is facing charges tonight after a handgun was found in his carry-on bag at Bradley International Airport. Jason Hines told police that he forgot the gun was in his bag. Police say 9 rounds of ammunition was also discovered in the weapon. Hines was arrested and later released on $5,000 bond. He's due in court in December.
And as the busy holiday season approaches, Eversource is reminding customers to be on the lookout for scammers. Eversource says they do not solicit door-to-door or over the phone on behalf of third-party energy suppliers. So if you get any of these messages, know that they are fake. Eversource also warning tonight that scammers will often ask for prepaid cards or for customers to pay using a Bitcoin ATM, all things the company will just simply never ask for. When in doubt, you should call Eversource directly to make sure you're having a real interaction with the real company.